Now, everyone's making it in film and TV, but we don't really know how. Here, we uncover the truth. Welcome to the Your Cinema podcast. Welcome to the Your Cinema podcast. This is where we explore the truth about film and TV and hear it directly from those who are smashing it in their areas. Today, we have got a returning guest, a highly critically acclaimed actor who's had notable roles in Dreaming Whilst Black, The Kitchen, Agatha Christie's Murder is Easy, and loads more. We've got Demmy Ladipo. What's going on, man?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm good. Good.
I love
Yes,
it.
all good. Can't complain. How are you?
I'm good, Like when I was reading your like just like, oh wait, actually this is what you've been in. Like, and I only said like a few of the projects really when I think about it. I'm like, yo, you're a working actor. Like, and it's deep because I think I said this last time on the pod, but it's like, nah, like you're doing it.
Yeah,
Like, this is
yeah,
your life.
yeah. It is. It's like it's how I make my living, which is
Yeah.
which is crazy. Which is crazy. Yeah. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because it's kind of there's a point where you're not, and then you want to be like a working actor, and then you just kind of you get your first job, and then you get your second one, and you just kind of keep on going, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm actually like I'm doing it now. I'm working. I'm like I'm in it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's not easy, but we keep on going. You know.
I love it. Well, you're making it look easy. Today, what we'll really be talking about is like, what makes a great actor and how to hone your skills for great performances on screen. This coincides with, our partnership of launching the craft, which is, a series of acting classes that's really designed to help emerging actors genuinely hone their skills, helping them to be more upskilled for more truthful performances on screen. Which, and I think, there's probably no one better I can think of to actually partner with in
Wow.
terms of delivering these sessions. Do you know why? Right, there's two reasons. One reason is because, and I think this is probably the most important, is like we know loads of actors in it, but
Mm,
you have a genuine heart for like helping and supporting emerging actors, right?
thank you.
Like, and I've seen that because like you've reached out to me on a number of occasions when I was like kind of thinking, oh, how can we do that? But it's like, yo, I saw this. Like next time, like I wanna like if there's any way I can help, I'm like, what? And that's been like a few occasions, and
Mm.
it's like, oh, like, and I remember speaking to you, like, why? Like, like, what's the reason for, like, in a nice way, like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. What made you hit me up? Like, I just you just want to help, and then
Mm.
I think the second reason is because, like, you are smashing it, and you're at the stage for me anyway where when we first started, like the first time we interviewed you like many years ago, probably
Yeah.
like about 7 8 years
Yeah.
ago, it was like you just had your first credit.
Yeah.
So
Was it Enterprise?
yeah,
Enterprise. Yeah.
yeah,
Damn.
exactly.
Enterprise and Last
So
Three.
and so like in this section and generation of where the industry is at, right, you, I think, are so well placed to be able to impart knowledge and techniques and the craft to a set of actors who are coming from where you've come from. Do you know what I mean? And would want to be in your position
Mm.
of, having a great agent, being in Netflix shows, being in BBC shows. Like, bro, you're a black guy who's been in the Agatha Christie. Like, what is
Yeah.
that?
And entered Agatha Christie
Like,
universe.
what's that? What's that?
Yeah.
Bro.
It's good times, man. Good times. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. No, you know what? thank you for saying all of that, man. Because, yeah, it's like you said. I feel as though that when I was coming through, maybe just before that, the first interview that we spoke about,
Yeah.
maybe just before that point, the few years leading up to that, I still remember very freshly, wanting to just wanting to be a part of some sort of course or some sort of workshop or just some sort of actors group where I could be around other actors that
Mm,
want the exact same thing as me, come from a similar background in the sense of maybe they're not coming from a traditional route where they go to like a performing arts college or performing arts school, like a Brit school, and then go to
mhm.
drama school, like a Lambda or RADA, all these sorts of things.
Yeah.
Just the people that actually just love acting, have an interest in it, and want to actually do it without necessarily having to go to like an esteemed drama school because they have a day job or because their career path didn't necessarily lead them down that path, but they still want to exercise that muscle and work
Mm,
and just play, So that's
mm,
why I want to do these sorts of things, like the craft, where it's um, working practically, working with an industry professional, where and trying to break down that sort of barrier between, say, the actors that are trying to become working actors and the working
mm,
actors
mm,
that were
mm,
emerging actors. So yeah, just trying to bridge that gap so that they can see what it's like. They can ask questions, actually speak to somebody that works in this sort of field, sort of demystify any sort of things that are, misty in their minds,
yeah.
because there's so many things that weren't told to me, so many things that I had to find out on my own, which, I'm glad I did find out on my own. But,
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff I did was like, trying to wade through the mud and just trying to figure out what exactly it is that I'm looking for or what exactly it is that I need to know. And obviously, luckily, I've been able to accumulate experience. I've been able to accumulate knowledge. Um, so I can just pass on to the people straight, like literally directly behind me, and that's all it is. It's just like accumulating what I've learned, and I've still got so much more to learn, by the way,
Mm,
and passing the torch on to those coming next, and that's
I
pretty
love
much it in a nutshell in terms of the why. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for that context. See, you've got the heart. You've got the heart for it. So, like, given your experience, right, and your journey, coming coming up from like having amazing raw talent, right? You and Tom doing those classic, legendary sketches.
Yes.
Why do actors need training?
I think actors, all actors, we need training because it's always good to hone in on whatever talents you do have. Training also can show you, reveal to you your weaknesses, and which is always a key element of improvement. Because if you don't train, if you don't understand where you need that improvement, then how can you improve? It's good to
Mm,
have your strengths,
mm,
but equally, it's even more important actually to strengthen your weaknesses, and that's
mm,
one part of training that is underrated, I think, is the fact that it shows you the things that you aren't good at. And a lot of the times people know the stuff that they know the stuff that they're not good at as well. They know the stuff that they want to become good at, and that's the beautiful thing about training.
mm,
Is that and it doesn't need to be the sort of formal training where it's like you must go to drama school. Just training, which is actually just practicing. That's all I mean when I say training.
mm,
But yeah, the reason why actors should be doing training, honing your craft, you can never know too much. Um, Finding out your weaknesses, strengthening your strengths, uh, diversifying your skill set as well. There's also that, and
mm.
just building the experience, because the more you do, acting is something that you have to do to improve. You have to do it. You can't just,
True.
you can't just act. Some people can. Some people can, you know, but most people just can't just act. Do you know what I mean? You have to do it to learn it, and training is literally that. So yeah, can't knock training. You have to
I
train.
love that. Love that. I love that. No, that's great clarity. In terms of like there are three main aspects. We'll probably build out more as time goes on, but there are three main aspects in terms of like analyzing scripts, improvisation, and I think like scene breakdown or character analysis,
Mm.
right? Why is breaking down a script or knowing how to do that so important?
Yeah, it's one of the most important things or parts of the process because it gives you all the information you need in terms of trying to figure out the characters, trying to figure out exactly what's happening in the scene, what's happened before the scene. Um, it will also inform you of how you want to approach the scene in terms of, you know, the state of mind that your character's in and what the character wants in the scene. Um, the way you break down the text is vital to all of these components because the more thoroughly and the more succinctly you break down the text, you will have even more opportunities and even more weapons for your arsenal when you are approaching or attacking a scene. That's why like
Mm,
that part of it is like essential.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, right, you the other day you had some auditions come through.
Yes. Yes.
And I wanted to know, right?
I'm editing
Like
them right now.
imagine
Rich, I'm editing them right now.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that. I love
yeah.
that. Really real. So like given that on that day you've had these auditions dropped on you and you need to turn them around quickly, like what how did you how did you go about that in terms of understanding what your character wanted? Because now that you're working, it seems like that has to be something that you can do quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, like yeah, how
Yeah.
did you approach that?
Well, the thing is, so when I was training, when I was doing some training with I was training with really good acting coach called Toby Clark.
Mhm.
Worked with him on Alt. Check them out; they're really good. Yeah, I remember when he was showing me how he analyzed text. Um, Basically, once you learn how like the sort of the structure or the components of a scene in a really sort of basic way, like there's a scene, the characters start off in one place, and then something happens in that scene, and then the characters that causes the characters to end up in a different place. That's really like the most basic sort of
Mm.
macro breakdown of like
Yeah,
just the whole of a scene in general.
yeah.
So now, obviously, with more experience, I understand characters, and also, you know what, with my experience with writing as well.
Mm.
Now I've like because I tell stories as well as like act them out. Now I
True.
understand where scenes are changing. I've got like a lot more of a sensibility for where I think things are happening, which allows
Yeah.
me because and the reason why I say where I think things are happening because sometimes you may interpret things slightly different, and you might find moments in different parts of a scene where things are changing because of you as a person and your personality. So certain things might resonate with you more, and it might be more of a moment to you. So a lot
Mm.
of the times it kind of depends on you as a person, but oftentimes in scenes, if somebody's just cheated on someone, like the moment that it gets revealed is pretty much the moment that things change, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be able to use your common sense. But that's the great thing about doing this now for me is because it just seems a lot more straightforward when I do it now. So when I do auditions and stuff like that, it's a lot easier to turn it around because a lot of the times it's characters are quite simple in terms of what they want, or what they're trying to do. And once you can analyze that sort of thing, it makes it easier to approach it on a more quicker turnaround sort of thing, like with auditions where you have 2 days to read something, digest it, figure out what you're going to do, film it, edit it, send it in, all of that. So yeah, it does get a lot quicker. It gets a lot easier just for experience.
I love that. So you said something that was quite interesting where you said that where you think things are changing in a scene, right?
Mhm.
And I love I love that understanding and that phraseology because it sounds like what you're saying is this is where I think things are happening, but someone else might have a different perspective.
Mm,
And the question that sort of came to mind, right, is I guess if you've made an assumption on how a scene is being played or you've got a perspective on it, but then you go to an audition and the director asks you to try it in a different way,
mm.
is does that like does improvisation help with that? I'm trying to understand. Oh, actually, does improvise it help to like think on your
Yeah,
feet?
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Because improvisation is all about flexibility. It's all about the ability to move on the spot, to perform on the spot under duress, and basically to perform under your own sort of imagination and making decisions based off of your impulses. So if you are adept at being able to improvise, which is being able to pick up things that are falling, or maybe uh, having to change directions on the fly, then it definitely helps you in terms of how you take notes from directors, because sometimes you might have your way of doing it, and like a big thing for me is my ability to take direction, my ability to adapt to what's being asked of me, because that's like so key as an actor. Like one of the biggest things that you can do, or one of the biggest attributes you can have, is the ability to take notes really well, to be able to decipher the information being given to you and apply it
Mm.
practically.
Mm.
So
That's
definitely,
interesting.
the improvising aspect helps massively with that aspect of being able to take notes.
Wow. And you know what, right? So you see with improvisation, I've noticed that I think you quite like it.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because it suits me. Firstly, it suits me very well, but
Mhm.
beyond that, I like it because it's kind of like the lifeblood of acting, because it's like your imagination, you playing. It's like you running free. Do you know what I mean? Running like wild in the jungle. Um,
Mhm.
so it's a great thing, and it keeps things fresh. It keeps you sharp, because you can't rest. You can't rest. You can't preempt. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't know what the other person's going to do. So
Mhm.
and you don't know what you're going to do. So that's why it's constant. It's like this constantly moving dance that has like lots of
Wow.
moves. Yeah, so that's why I love it, and it's fun. Improvising is really fun. It's literally spontaneity. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I like improv, and that's why I use it in my workshops and in any sort of training that I do, or that I want to do.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now you've learned a lot and you'll continue to learn more.
Yes,
But
sure.
what I wanted to know, right, is and this may be reflected on like your early days of wanting to act, and it may not be. But I wanted to know, right, what are your thoughts on why some emerging actors think they don't need to train or do acting classes or whichever?
Um. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, that's an interesting one. Like I don't. Maybe because I know maybe with some actors, maybe if they book work quite early on, like from when you start out, Sometimes that can give you the feeling, because you're working. Because the thing is, when you are working, you are learning. That's the thing. You're learning like
Mm.
loads whilst you're working, of course.
Yep.
So there is that. Like you are training when you are working. Well, if
Mm.
the job is challenging enough, but even if it's not that challenging, you're learning in different ways.
Mm.
Um, but I think maybe when you get work very early on, from when you start out, maybe you feel, maybe you don't feel the need to train. But even me, like I still go to training.
Mm.
I still go to training classes and improv classes and stuff like that. And
Mm.
like a friend of mine, Sheyi Cole, he got work straight out of drama school, and he attends, what's it called, these um training classes and stuff like that, in the sense of he's a
Mm.
working actor, working in America, working here, doing this, doing Netflix film, doing uh, everything. Do you know what I mean? But he
Yeah.
still has the onus on himself to be like, no, I need to keep it sharp. Even if I am
Mm.
working, or even when I'm between jobs, I need to keep it sharp. So
Mm.
that's what I think in terms of, why some actors may think, they don't need to train. Then maybe it's that in
Mm.
terms of getting work, very
Mm.
quickly when you start. But like the example I used with Sheyi Cole, even the really uh, busy actors that have come straight out of drama school and they're getting big
Mm.
jobs, they still train, and because it's important.
Yeah. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. One of our USPs with the craft, which I'm really excited about, right? And you touched on is like, being taught by people that are in the industry, that are like working actors, basically. And I wanted to know, like, why do you think that's so important?
It just goes back to that point I made about, bridging the gap. If you got if you have never worked in the industry and you want to get into the industry, imagine you could just train with people who work in the industry. It's mad simple. Like it's so simple the way I see it, because um you want that first hand knowledge. You want to be able to ask people, what did you do? How did you do it? And it's not to say that, oh, you can be like, oh, I'm going to do what they did. It's more about understanding the different ways that it works. Maybe learning from mistakes that I've made. You know, maybe you can ask me questions
Mm.
about mistakes that I've made, or maybe I can advise you about things that you don't need to do because I did that and I know that you don't need to do that. What if it's like you want to ask about questions where there's like agents that want to sign people but are telling people to pay, and then sometimes some people, like bear actors, have asked me, this agency wants to sign me, but they're saying I need to pay like a registration fee. If they didn't know me, or if they didn't know like a working actor that they could actually get the information from, then they might have got fleeced. So
Mm.
that's just some of the reasons why. And just nothing like working, training and learning from the actual people that are in these rooms doing this work that you want to do. That's just like, I just think is a no-brainer. Like, because when I was a kid, I'm watching stuff on TV. um, just watching the stuff made me want to be an actor. But if I thought that there was like a sort of, opportunity to actually work with some of these actors, or to actually just be in the same room and to be able to ask questions, just so I can, satisfy that sort of itch for myself, that would be like invaluable. So I'm just thinking to myself, let me try and provide that for others. So so that they can ask the questions that they want to ask. They can work, in the fashion, or work at a level, close to, what's required, and honing your skills and refining your skills with working actors is a great way to do that, to up your ability, so that you can work, when the time comes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I love that. In terms of I guess my last point is, really, I wanna get your thoughts in terms of like hopes and what you would want the craft to achieve for like in the long run when we look back 10, 20 years and all of these sessions and stuff, like, yeah, what would you like to see?
Yeah, I think in the long run, like long run, big picture is I'd want the craft to be a resource and a network where people that are interested in acting, people that are just getting into acting, people that are learning acting, people that are you know curious about acting can
Mm.
come, learn, receive information, um, and find tangible, practical routes into the industry through this resource, whereby you can train, you can network, and you can perform in front of people working in the industry, so that you don't have to do that traditional route. You can actually come somewhere, train for X amount of time, and get opportunities to perform in front of people who are the people hiring, who are the people um, working, who are the people that have clients, the agents and stuff like that, the people who are, like I said, hiring the casting directors. That sort of opportunity to rub shoulders with these people who you would never get that opportunity if you didn't know all of these things, or you didn't have that sort of traditional route into the industry, whereby you can go to a drama school and perform at a showcase
Mm.
in front of casting directors who it's their job to go to these showcases, So yeah,
Yeah.
I think big picture, a place where actors can come, learn to act, and have opportunities to get into the industry. Yeah,
I love that. I concur. I'm really looking forward to this and what
me
we
too, man.
build. Well, my bro, thank you. I think, yeah,
Thank you.
man, you provided some really good insight in terms of like what makes a great actor and the ways in which people can achieve that. So we hope it was helpful for everyone. Remember, there are limited spaces for the craft at the end of April, beginning of May. I think, what is it? It's April the 30th and the 1st of May. So book your spaces on yourcinemafilms.com/the craft, and we will see you there.